Hello and all, welcome to the Galaxy Man Show interview show. So for my very next guest of this week is this incredible geek from Beauty and the Geek, Australia, known by the name of Kiran Rao. So I'm about to add Kiran into the live now and have a chat with Kiran about his time on Beauty and the Geek and to talk about Beauty and the Geek this season. So yeah, let's add Kiran in and have a chat with Kiran. Hey, how's it going, Kiran?
Very well, thank you. How are
Yeah,
you?
really good, thanks. I just want to say first up, thank you so much for taking the time to join my show. It is such an incredible pleasure having you on the show for today. To people that
The pleasure's mine for sure, 100%.
Listen, so to people that don't know who you are, Kieran, if you give like a bit of backstory about yourself, and then we'll dive right into the questions.
Yeah, so I think I'm most notable for being a contestant on the 2021 season of Beauty and the Geek. I'm a lawyer by profession. I've lived in 6 countries, France, UAE, Indonesia, Singapore, and UK. Forgot one for a moment. And yeah, no, I think that's the basic rundown of everything.
Awesome. So we'll dive right into the questions now, Kieran. So for my very first question, as everyone knows, Beauty and the Geek Australia is such a massive success, especially in Australia, for this like incredible show. Like, what was your time like getting to be on Beauty and the Geek?
It's absurd. It was one of the strangest, most amazing, incredible experiences of my recent history, at least. It came right smack in the middle of 2 lockdowns. I'm based in Melbourne, Victoria, so it came at a time when I really needed it, and it was just such an incredible, wholesome, amazing experience.
So on to our very next question. So like, what did you enjoy the most, like from your season, and why from Beauty and the Geek?
I'm sorry, you broke up just a little bit during that
Okay,
question.
so what did you enjoy like the most from your season?
I think I probably enjoyed the wrestling challenge. I didn't ever expect to ever end up in a wrestling ring with actual professional wrestlers. The thing they don't tell you is that even though wrestling is, sorry to spoil it to anyone, a little bit choreographed and fake, it hurts a lot. So when they hit you, you bruise. And I remember having a big sort of slap mark on my chest for about 3 weeks after that challenge.
Damn. So on to my very next question, on to the challenges. Like, what was your favorite part of the challenges, and like, what was like the most difficult challenge to do, and why?
So one that we had early on in the season was a photography challenge where we had these models come in and we had to convince them that we were professional model photographers, and we had to style them, and that was just a really
Well, we lost. Yeah,
you,
I think
Jacob.
you are. You're back now. So
You think I am?
yeah.
Okay. Okay, let me see if I can fix that on my end.
Okay.
Has it improved within the last like
You're you're
five-ish
you're
seconds?
good now. Like everything's good now. The way it's
Okay,
gone. So
okay, cool. Hopefully it doesn't keep happening.
yeah,
If it does, like,
yeah.
Um, yeah, no, so the reason it was challenging is because it was so hot, because they had these big bright lights on, and I think they made a lot of fun of Alex for the way that he was sweating, but we were all drenched during that challenge, and it's hard to convince a model that you're a professional photographer when you're just soaking wet. I remember my model kept asking me if I could turn the AC on, and I was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll turn the AC on." And I'm just like fiddling with something random on the wall, but it wasn't the AC.
Awesome. So on to your very next question. So about the first day on set of Beauty and the Geek Australia, like with your season, like what was it like getting to meet all the beauties?
It was. I think it's a bit daunting, right? Because you don't really know when you go on a show called Beauty and the Geek. You don't know what the beauties are going to be like, especially since the show hadn't been on air for so many years. So I thought we were going to meet these really it was a bit judgmental maybe of me, but I thought we were going to meet these really like sort of potentially cold people. But I was immediately wrong. They were so warm and lovely, and they're quite sharp. And I think that was a nice surprise.
Awesome. So on to our very next question for you. So like out of Beauty and the Geek, like which geek like outstanded you the most for your season? Like who did you get along with the most?
So I got along with probably George the most because we were flatmates. We just sort of spent most of the time together, and we're still very good friends. We meet up fairly regularly. But all the geeks are amazing. The geeks are my people.
Yes.
So you meet up in a crowd. I've had the pleasure of meeting some of the more recent geeks as well, and I don't know them as well, but instant connection there as well. Just when you find another geek, you know it. That's what yeah.
So on to our next question. So like what was it like doing the transformation like into the good looking Kiran that you are to this day, I have to say?
Stop it, Jacob. No, the transformation was awesome. It was a really humbling sort of experience. There were about 60 people running around doing different things. You know, we had like teams of people working on the wardrobe, teams of people, like a team of hairdressers, not just one. You had the producers, you had the cameramen and women and people. You had people setting up the big reveal, and it was just seeing like the small army that is mobilized to make. Thanks, Michael. So Michael from the recent season has just joined the chat. Yeah, it's having a small army join, small army working to make you look good and give you a good day is just really lovely. It's a really lovely experience.
So on to our very next question. So like what do you miss about like your season? Like especially like watching this new season of Beauty and the Geek. What do you miss from your time on Beauty and the Geek?
I mean, I don't miss a lot because it's an experience, and all experiences have to end, and you move on to the next big thing. But I did have a little bit of sort of FOMO watching them do the stunt challenge and getting pulled through a wall of boxes. I was like, oh, I'd love to do that. But I think getting to do those weird and wacky challenges is obviously a highlight.
So I'll tell you our next question. So like with this new season of Beauty and the Geek, that was such an incredible season for this year. Like, what did you enjoy the most for this season?
I really loved how this season sort of fleshed out the beauties a little bit more. They spent more time revealing why these people and these humans are beautiful, how they've potentially been mistreated in the past, or they've sort of risen above sort of challenges. And I think that was really nice and refreshing. There's two parts to the concept, right? It's beauty and the geek. And I felt like with our season, we did a really good job with the geeks, and we could have done a better job with the beauties. And I think they've adjusted in the right direction this season.
So on to our next question. So who was like your outstanding top like favorite geek and couple from this season, and why?
So I think the obvious answer would be Aaron and Carly, who are the two winners. But I'm going to go a little bit left turning here, and I think I really liked Tegan and Anthony. Okay. I think I loved that Anthony sort of took that bold step of picking Tegan at the very beginning of the first episode, which would have taken a lot of bravery and a lot of guts. And I don't think he did that. He was the most comfortable doing that, but he took himself out of his comfort zone immediately, which was a huge commitment to the purpose of the show, I think. And they kind of scrapped their way through the entire thing, just surviving 4 eliminations. And then at the end with the final challenge, I was really impressed with how Anthony was literally having to confront his biggest fear of heights. And through that teamwork and through that connection that he and Tegan had built up over the course of the entire season, they managed to get through it. And it wasn't done in a way that felt sort of bullying or anything. It was support, and like that. It kind of shows you what can be accomplished when you've got someone in your corner.
So on to our very next question. So what challenge did you find like the most interesting out of this season and why?
Sorry, where were we? Where did I get cut off?
So I mentioned the challenges. Like, what did you find? Like, what challenge did you find the most interesting out of like this new season, and why?
I think I think the TikTok challenge was super interesting because creating viral content on TikTok is really hard for anyone. And when you're doing it with the threat of elimination over your head, and you have to combine your two interests, I don't know how they did it. I would have been found that very stressful, especially as a millennial who doesn't understand TikTok.
Yes. TikTok is very, very stressful at times. Like I use TikTok and I'm like, how do I do this on TikTok? It's like impossible.
I, I mean, you never know what's gonna just pick up and all of a sudden have millions of views on
Yeah.
TikTok. The numbers don't make sense to me. How
No.
there's more views on TikTok than there are humans in the world. So
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
lot of people are watching stuff over and over again.
Yes, totally agree. So on to our very next question. So if you could have done like a different like watching this new season, like what kind of like new challenge would you have wanted to do and why?
Um, I think I probably would have wanted to do. I already mentioned wanting to do the stunt challenge. I think that would have been a highlight. I also liked the. I like the way that the show started, where they all rode in on tanks. That'd be a lot of fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. So on to our very next question. So like what does Beauty and the Geek as a show like mean to you? Like especially as a geek?
Oh, it's such a great question. I love this question because I love the concept of Beauty and the Geek because it's two people who are kind of disenfranchised, especially when it comes to dating. You've got on one end of things people who are sort of underestimated because of their outward physical appearance, who may be mistreated, may be not necessarily given the benefit of the doubt. And then you have on the other end of things people who have sort of self-isolated and not fully been able to engage with sort of dating, and they've instead sort of focused their attention on something to their passions and their hobbies. And it's a really lovely concept to bring those two people together because there's a lot that can be learned from each other, and it's really nice that these two groups actually click really well, despite seeming to be on polar opposite ends of a spectrum somewhere.
So on to our very next question. So like to people that haven't seen Beauty and the Geek as a show, like why do you recommend Beauty and the Geek? Like to people that want to apply for the show?
Oh, if you want to apply for Beauty and the Geek because you consider yourself to be a beauty or a geek, I'd recommend it just as a way of getting out of your comfort zone, as a way of having a bit of fun as well. Like the fun element has to be acknowledged, and it's you learn a lot. You learn a lot from that experience. You build these friendship groups with people that you'd never have met before, people from different backgrounds, different walks of life, and those people become your friends for life.
So on to our very next question. So like what would like now Kiran say to younger Kiran?
So I would say to myself, my younger self, enjoy the ride. And I think during the actual show, I was very concerned about the competition, and now I realize that competition is not super important. It's just about the experience and the people, and really investing in that. And I think like you kind of feel that when you're there, but sometimes you get a bit confused because I don't really understand why there's a competition element, but it's there. So
That's it. So on to the very last question, Kieran. So what new goals or like what new like things have you experienced in like real life apart from Beauty and the Geek? Like what's like next for you like out of 2022?
well, so I'm in my first proper official relationship, and that is a daunting thing. I tend not to talk too much about it because it is my private life, but it is a direct extension and consequence of my experience on the show, and I'm learning a lot. Relationships are interesting and tricky and fun, but I'm so lucky to have found a partner in Louise, my current girlfriend. She's this amazing, beautiful human being who I'm just awes me.
Yes.
I No, thank you for having me on, Jacob. It's been such a pleasure, and I wish you all the best. I'm a big fan of the musicians that you bring on and the what you're doing on this platform.
Thank you
It's
so
really
much.
cool.
Thank you.